Hey YouTubers, it's me, Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art. It's Friday afternoon, about 2:44. I thought I'd take a break during work and just do a report like I normally do since I've decided to come back to Facebook. And what I normally do when I like to find stories, this is how simple it is because I like to see how much the mainstream media gives us information. I go to Google and I just type in nuclear waste and I hit the news button and see what pops up, right? And I am not surprised, but actually there was a story that popped up that really hit my button on the undocumented workers. As many of you know, that's an issue near and dear to my heart. I have actually sponsored several people into this country, 5 to be exact. I'm sponsoring my 6th person into this country. So I've been around the immigration process quite a bit. And I know the trauma that United States corporations cause South Americans. I know the trauma. I've seen the paramilitary forces that are trained by the United States government roaming the streets with machine guns in the streets of South American countries, and Peru in particular. I know about the paramilitary government set up in Guatemala and the horrible things that have happened there. They actually have to have special courts set up in Guatemala for rapicide. I guess there's rape is a tactic that's used down there, so they have special courts for rape. So when I found this story, why was I not surprised? Check this out. I'm going to share it with you. And that way I came back on to the screen share thing. Here we go. This was on the Young Turks. Let me see. I'm going to go back and let it say share with everyone, present to everyone. There now. I'll go back here so I can move around. There we go. Hide that. Okay, so look at this. The Young Turks. This is the Young Turks network. Bases for migrant detentions contain nuclear waste and other toxins by Kep Klippenstein. On Monday, Secretary of Defense James Mattis announced that migrant detainees would be housed at 2 U.S. military bases, Goodfellow Air Force Base and Fort Bliss. What he didn't mention was that toxic contaminants have been blamed for health problems at these locations. The Trump administration has not said exactly how many migrants will be placed at each of these bases. However, the Pentagon has been told to prepare for up to 20,000 unaccompanied minors, and was asked 20,000, and was asked earlier this week to prepare to house up to 12,000 additional migrant families, members of all ages. One of these bases where these migrants will be sent, Fort Bliss, is a U.S. Army post in El Paso, Texas. It is reportedly contaminated with radioactive waste, in addition to at least 4 different types of carcinogens. According to previously unreported court documents, the American Legion, the largest U.S. war organization, was suing the VA as recently as 2008 on behalf of a veteran who developed a tumor after alleged exposure to Agent Orange and other caustic chemicals while at Fort Bliss. The veteran said he experienced direct skin exposure to Agent Orange, a powerful herbicide in defolium, which he said had been spilled multiple times at the base. The VA, of course, claims there is insufficient evidence to connect the veteran's cancer and his military service, but there is other evidence, including from the Army itself, that Fort Bliss does contain contaminants. In 2013, the Army announced that it had detected radiological contamination in a weapons storage bunker in Fort Bliss after a retired airman related to Air Force Safety Office due to fears he had about expansion of family housing near the base. I don't think I read that right. The airman, who had worked on the base when it was an Air Force installation, told officials that the radioactive materials had been buried underground but well above the table water. Nuclear weapons has been stored and maintained there since the 1950s and 60s. Subsequent to the airman's tip, the Army, referencing tests conducted by Fort Bliss, reported that there was contamination that could be transferred to personnel. Although the Army has asserted that radioactive contaminants had not spread to the area's groundwater, when asked if it would test other parts of the base, the Army spokesperson said, "We can't go on a witch hunt. We have a lot of area. Go on a witch hunt." They love that word, witch hunt, when there's actually known facts, don't they? Despite the Army's lack of additional testing, there is evidence of other contaminants aside from the nuclear waste. According to a report by the Environmental Working Group, Fort Bliss's drinking water from 2010 to 2015 contained 4 different cause-or-counting contaminants, levels exceeding federal drinking water standards. Radiological contaminants including both uranium and radium, chromium, dibomochloromethane, and trihalomethanes. Wow. The report, which drew on testing conducted by the EPA as well as the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, also found other 11 contaminants. The water was deemed by the EPA as non-compliant in 8 of the past 12 quarters. The Environmental Working Group's report notes that the water was in the EPA's compliance from July to September 2017, but does not say whether the contaminants were found after 2015. The other military base Mattis said would be housing migrant detainees, Goodfellow Air Force Base, is located in San Angelo, Texas, and is the intelligence training center for the Air Force as well as other service members. Goodfellow's intelligence training specializes in intelligence signals, surveilling, and phone data. In 1985, Goodfellow was designated by the EPA as a Superfund site. In 1985, Goodfellow was designated by the EPA as a Superfund site, a term for sites contaminated with hazardous substances. Superfund sites are subject to a hazard ranking system based on EPA criteria. Goodfellow was not categorized as qualifying for the national priorities list. Instead, EPA designated its status as no further remedial action planned. Wow. Despite the EPA's decision not to disburse funds to remedy the contamination, Goodfellow continues to have environmental issues. In 2004 through 2005, the Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit that conducts research on environmental safety, found that Goodfellow's drinking water contained THMs and a carcinogenic contaminant above the legal limits, as well as 11 other contaminants. In addition, the Daily Beast's Spencer Ackerman and James LaPortia recently quoted an Air Force intelligence officer formerly stationed at Goodfellow as saying that the base has water issues where everyone carries around jugs of water because the faucet tastes like you were drinking a spoon. I think that requires this, my little rain stick. I'm starting to get freaked out over this story. It makes me wonder, like, what else is out there that we're not even paying attention to? A 1988 Government Accountability Office report lists 4 different sites on the base as potential hazardous waste locations. The Mesothelioma Cancer Alliance also lists Goodfellow as posing a risk of asbestos exposure. A toxic foam was also used extensively at the air base for firefighting. The foam has been linked to water contamination, cancer, and low birth weights. Researchers say the children's brains are particularly vulnerable to toxins. Harvard's University Center on the Developing Child says, exposure to toxins before birth or in early life can have a devastating and lifelong effect on the developing architecture of the brain. Earlier this year, the White House reportedly attempted to block publication of particularly damning Department of Health and Human Services studies on water supplies near the military bases. A Trump administration aide is said to have warned that the study would cause a public relations nightmare, you think? Despite the White House attempt, the study was published earlier this month. It found that the military water supplies were far more contaminated than the government previously acknowledged. Let me double click on this and see if we can find that. Okay, we have to accept that. Okay. Military drinking water. Pig! Fascist pig. I swear to God, this man, just looking at him, he makes me spit nails. I fucking hate this prick. He's the picture of evil. I hate him. I honestly, if I could say, I have to actually learn to love this man. I have to fill my heart with love for him and compassion for his pathetic, weak, empty soul. Ugh, that's a hard journey, but I'm going to really work at it. So this is June 21, 2018. Wow. So this is also very, very recent, the New Republic. I'm going to save this so I can keep it. Come on, you go in there. Okay. The Trump administration's it would be a public relations nightmare. A major federal study that concluded contaminated water across the country, especially near military bases, was more toxic than the government realized. Political aides to Donald Trump and Environmental Protection Agency head Scott Pruitt pressured the agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry against releasing the results. So they wanted to keep it secret. You get that? The president and the head of the EPA did not want to tell people. The media, the public, congressional reaction to these numbers is going to be huge, an unidentified White House aide wrote, according to Politico. The impact to EPA and the Defense Department is going to be extremely painful. We cannot seem to get the ATSDR to realize that the potential public relations nightmare this is going to be. The study was not released. That is, until Wednesday. Amid a firestorm about the administration's immigration policy, the ATSDR, a division of the Department of Health and Human Services, quietly published its 852-page review of perfluoroalkyls, or PFAS, which are used in everything from carpets and frying pan coatings to military firefighting foams, according to ProPublica. All told, the report offers the most comprehensive gathering of information on the effects of these chemicals today, and they suggest that they are far more dangerous than previously thought. You know what? I am not going to finish this here. I am going to make another video. So let me go back here. Beep. Google Hangouts. I guess that's where I'm at. Stop sharing. Beep. Here I am. See my little double glasses. This is so that I can actually see close. So I'm going to stop reading that second one. I'm going to actually do, I'm going to read that in its own little report. I'm going to keep posting up articles that I find on YouTube and read them so that people will see them. Hey, I got a viewer. Hi, viewer. Let me say hi, viewer. I don't know if you can type. Type something if you can type something, and then I'll know that this thing works. I keep trying to make it work. To list all available commands. I can't figure that one out. Oh, Lord. Anyways, I am going to quit. I'm going to get myself back to work for a little while. I'm hoping that I'm going to put that other article out, this other one that talks about the military drinking water. Oh my God, I can't wait. This is just unbelievable, but it's kind of a long story. So I want to get back to this and put out just a quick little short video on paying attention to the big things and the fact that they are actually normalizing radioactive waste. That's essentially, I mean, what did I just read? That the president and the EPA director didn't want to put out how much contaminants. They did the study to see what the quality of the water is and what's it like, only they didn't like the results. Typical. So I'm going to be out tomorrow at my city on June 30th at 11 here in Eugene, Oregon at the brand new federal warehouse. The website says there's 500 people showing up. I hope there's millions of people showing up tomorrow, because this article really highlights the complete lack of disregard. Not the lack of disregard, the complete disregard. Let me see what this says. So this was the Young Turks. I did put this link in here. This was the Young Turks reporting on this. Young Turk investigates bases for migrant detention centers contain nuclear waste and other toxins. But you know what? If they're going to put our soldiers there, I guess they're going to put migrants there, right? People who are crossing over illegally. If they don't give a darn about our soldiers, why shouldn't they put them there? They don't care. So I'm going to get going, you guys. Put your courage feet on. Please take action. And really, I honestly hope people will show up tomorrow in every single city in their own city and defend the rights of these migrant babies. I personally am going to bring a sign that says intentionally harming children, harming infants is an impeachable offense. I don't know how I'm going to get all that on one of these boards that I got over here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually work on that after work tonight. So this thing with the migrants has just completely unnerved me. And it really is, for me, very much like the Nazis hauling children, hauling people off to the internment camps in Germany, or like the Japanese being forced into internment camps. I know these are not American citizens, but when it gets to the point of ripping babies out of mothers' arms and intentionally housing 11, what that story say, they're planning on housing 20,000 undocumented migrant children under the age of 18. So they are housing, instead of releasing them and letting them go into foster care or figuring it out, they're going to house them in these permanent internment camps on military bases that are highly contaminated. This is the state of our government. And I'm not saying that Traitor Trump did this, but I'm just saying he's making it freaking exponentially worse. And I think it is time for us to stand up against the fascists. Because if we don't stand up, if you don't speak up for your rights, we are going to lose them. And let me tell you what, if we don't stand up for the least of them, which is 2-month-old babies, 3-month-old babies, 12-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids, who are we going to stand up for? That's why I felt so betrayed by Jerome yesterday. I cannot even begin to tell you. But I feel betrayed by many Americans, to be honest. They are betraying our country and our rights and our ethics. First off, they refuse to read. They refuse to do their own research. They just listen to bullshit being fed into them. Second off, they refuse to register and vote. You can't have a democracy if people don't vote. Right now, we have less than 20% of the people voting. And third off, they really have become completely unengaged. So now that people, and it is mostly mothers, I've noticed that this is mostly women standing up for these migrant babies. I don't know what is wrong with the hearts of American men, but they basically have abandoned their own ethics and integrity, and it's up to us to lead them back. So, gosh, I hear my phone. Ciao, you guys. I love you all. Thank you, Twos, for joining me. And I hope that it's like Govey Fawkey. Is that you, Govey? And TJ Washington, because you guys are my most ardent followers, I think. But I do love you both. I'm actually really grateful that I somehow get to know you through here. So, and I look forward to talking to Govey. I hope you send me an email, Govey. I haven't seen it. I want to give you some of my airtime. I'm setting that all up this weekend. So I really am ending. Put your courage feet on, you guys. Ciao. Love you both. Bye.